And that's how we begin here, folks. Welcome, everybody, to the Paranormal Portal. I'm your host, Brent Thomas. Ooh, Hardwick. Right out the gate, you remembered. I got to get that board repositioned. I keep forgetting about it until showtime. And hello to all of you guys. Hello to Barbara and Big D over there in Rumble Land. And great to see all of you guys piling in over here on the YouTubes. Hello to anybody over on Twitch. Great to have you there on X as well. And, of course, Facebook Live, if you happen to be tuned in over there. All our options. We are streaming into 5 different locations. So, I don't know. I'm making it as easy as I can for you guys to find it. But, I don't know. I got a message today. What was it again? Where was it again? It was a really nice message, too. I can't remember, but it was somebody's. It was over on Instagram. That's where it was. It was over on Instagram. It was such a nice message, and I'm really humbled when I see messages like this. Let me see if I can find it. Where the hell is it? Let me see if I can pull it up for you guys. I just thought I'd read it for you because I love getting really nice messages. Of course, everybody does, but sometimes somebody says something that's like, "Oh, that's really cool to hear that." And I'm just pulling it up right now. Maybe I'm not. Where the hell is it? I thought it was here. Yeah, it was here. Hold on. I gotta get to the right place. My apologies here, as I am getting to it. Here it is. It was on Instagram from Max Mach. I guess it's Max Mach girlfriend GF. GF, I always assume is girlfriend, but it's a user on Instagram, Maxma. I don't know how to pronounce it for sure. But he said, "Man, I've been listening to you for a long time, and I really appreciate what you do. I always wonder why you're not bigger. You put on so much work and should have way more listeners. Keep up the great work." I was like, "Oh, that's really nice." I think that's really sweet. I don't know. Obviously, there are ways to create listeners, at least to create listener numbers. And I refuse to do any of those, one of which because I'm not about to throw money at cosmetics. Basically, like, it's a service you or any other creators can do out there. You can retain the services of like bot farms or whatever to watch your episodes or to watch the lives or to comment and give you fake subscriptions and stuff. And it looks fine on paper, but if it's not genuinely people that are showing up to watch what I'm doing, it's really not worth my time. I don't want to perpetuate a myth of what the show is. I want to perpetuate what the show is, and all of you guys that are here and have been with me for years. And I don't want to cheapen that by, "Oh, look, I got 500 listeners still alive. Isn't that weird?" Cool. But it comes out of my pocket and it means nothing because it's not really people enjoying the shows. So there's those methods. There is, those people that maybe have corporate backing or some other kind of backing, and they can just throw money at advertising and get their name everywhere. So, of course, people are going to run into it. And then there's the shows that grind it out on their own. And those are the ones to me that I respect personally. Those people that created a show because they love doing it, and they created a home for people to come together and talk and to share ideas and that grows. And so that's been, I guess, what I try to emulate. I'm not going to buy my audience. I'm not going to pretend I have an audience. I'm just doing what I'm doing to the best of my ability, and hopefully it continues to grow and more people end up finding what we're doing. But special thanks to Max. I appreciate that comment. That was very kind. It's nice to see. And from your lips to God's ears. Maybe the audience is coming, but I am so grateful for the people that are here already. That to me means the world. I'd rather have 10 real enthusiasts for what I'm doing than 5 million fake ones, So it's not the quantity, it's the quality. Maybe that's a better way to put it. But thank you so much for the comment. That was very, very kind, very nice. So I just wanted to celebrate that for a moment. Let's have a little paranormal party here. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but yeah, I appreciated that. That was very nice. Evening, y'all. Are you ready to for the end of the world as we know it? Well, I don't know. They've been saying the end of the world since ancient times. It's coming. It's coming. It's going to be here pretty soon. And we're still here. So, I don't know. Totally love this show. Hello, friend says. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. That's very kind. And hello to all of you on YouTube. I can see you guys are here. You are definitely the lion's share of the live audience, but wherever you're watching from, thanks for watching. Deborah Neighbors is here. Maggie M10 is here. Quality over quantity. Yeah. Hello, friend again. Mickey G is here. How you doing, Mickey? Good to see you. Hardwick is over here as well, all over the place. Rachel Gets It Right is here. Eric Fry is here. And I'm just going through the list. Bill Simone's over here as well. And Chucky Danger, our very own Chucky Danger. Wonderful man, Chucky. Appreciate you being here, brother. Karen Alberding is here. Annie Manuel is here as well. Marie Garman. Hello, Marie. Good to see you. I see you. Oh, I think I know your name, right, Marie Garman? You've been here before, right? I'm sorry if I'm terrible with names. So, but I'll tell you, we got Australia represented with Maggie and Aussie Boss Tigers here as well. So the Australian connection is live and functional, folks. And what else is going on? Let's see as I'm scrolling here, seeing names. I think actually looks. Oh, Owl 13. How you doing, Owl? Good to have you here. Owl's done another what is the word? Transfer? She's done another media thing that we're using for the What the Hell Is That segment. She did the video and I did the sound, and I think it turned out really nice. So if you haven't seen that, you'll see it again tonight because we're going to be getting into that in a little bit. But I'm just trying to say hello to everybody that I can. Oh my God, finally caught the show live. Marie says, I just yelled out, sorry, Tim, Brent is on. See you after. Well, God bless Tim. He's on a different channel when I got the notification. I was watching Tim Alberino. I don't know who Tim Alberino is. Is it a good channel? I'll have to check that one out sometime. I haven't heard of it, but that's very cool. I'm glad we won for what it's worth, Marie. I'm glad I won that. That's really cool. But yeah, hello to everybody. I'm just scrolling through. I think that's everybody I can see. So far, unless some more people have come in, I don't know if Portal Mom's out there tonight or not. She said she was going to try to be listening at least, so maybe she's out there. Barbara Mora, of course, is here on YouTube as well. So the Goblin popped in. Good to see you, Goblin. Thank you for coming in. And if I missed anybody, my apologies, but I'm just rolling through the list as much as I can. And there you have it. So we're going to get to the news here in a moment. Talk about some incredible, interesting news pieces along the way. And again, as I said, we are going to get into the What the Hell Is That? Where we're going to review a video. I've actually been receiving a few, but actually Barbara sent the video that we're going to cover today. And it's a pretty interesting one. It's one that's been around for a long time. It's one that I saw years ago, but I still don't have any answers for it. Whatever the thing is, I don't know. You guys can, here's the thing. Every once in a while I'll watch a video and it's like, I don't know what the hell that is. Like, I don't even know what the hell it could be. It's one of those things. And so we'll check that out. Again, it's been around for ages. I don't know where it comes out of, whether it's Central or South America or like the Philippines or some Asia country. I don't know. But whatever it is, it's a creepy something, and we'll get into that in a little bit when we get there. We're going to go back into the Skinwalker stories from Thought Catalog, that Thought Catalog article we've been burning through, and then we're going to hit the cryptid corner. So I don't know what we'll get to, what we won't, but as always, you guys are my co-hosts tonight. It's just me and you guys. So if you have questions or if you have a comment and you want to get my attention, the best way to do it is just capitalize the letters, all of them, because then it just really jumps out. It's easier to see. So if you don't mind, I would appreciate it. Phil Funk remembered. God bless you. Happy anniversary, Brent. You are the best. Thank you, Phil. I appreciate that a bunch. I really do. Thank you so much. And you know, if any of you are able to, of course, memberships are a great way to help support the show, or, you know, however you can. But I'll tell you this, you know, monetary donations are wonderful. They really are, because it helps me keep the lights on, honestly. But there's lots of ways to support the show if monetary isn't possible for you. Just hit the like before you leave. Hopefully you'll stay for the whole show. But if you can't, hit the like. And if you are watching when it's not live, leave me a comment. All of those things do so much to show the YouTube algorithm, look, there's interaction going on here. This is something that's happening, and so it's more likely to recommend it. Everybody talks about the algorithm, and there's an algorithm on Rumble, there's an algorithm on Twitch and X and all of those platforms. So wherever you're watching, leave me a message if you would. But that's really cool. What else was I going to say? I was going to say something else, but I can't remember what that is. So I guess we should probably get the ball rolling, because I've been flapping my lips for a while now, and we got a lot of ground to cover. So, I was going to show you guys this. Actually, this was something that was done for me. This isn't something I did for myself, but I did post it around. So chances are you've probably seen it, or maybe not. I don't know. But anyway, it was a fun thing that was posted. I'm going to show you guys what it is. I didn't make it myself. It's not like a vanity project, but I'll tell you the meat and taters of it in a minute here. But let me first do this. I got to actually pull it up, don't I? That didn't sound right at all. Let's do this. This is
all right.
Oops.
It is time, ladies and gentlemen.
Stop that. I was not ready for that. This is the video, and it's kind of a, I know you guys have seen those AI renderings of baby faces on, you know, obviously adult characters. Well, this one was made for me and for all of you. Hopefully you enjoy it. I thought it was hilarious. And again, I'll give you the meat and taters of it as soon as I get it all cropped in and sized up here, and you guys can see it. This is something that was made. Again, let me know what you think. If you haven't seen it, this should be interesting. I'll be looking forward to your take. Here we go, folks. There we go. Let's have a listen.
All right. It is time, ladies and gentlemen, once again for the Paranormal Portal. And I'm your host, Brent Thomas, and this is our journey into the dark, unknown crevices of the paranormal.
So the background on this is, Brent is awesome, always gives us fine entertainment. Thank you, Eric. In surround sound? I'm in surround sound. Is that good, Maggie? It's like I'm all around you, or is that what's going on? But yeah, this was actually made by Mrs. Portal. My wife made this as a surprise. So so I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And she was howling with laughter. All that I could hear, that she was just rolling about something, and then she brought it down on her tablet and showed me, and I'm like, "Oh my God, that is so hilarious!" So there you have it. Special thanks to my lovely wife and her amazing creative talents. I don't know. I know it's an AI thing, and I don't know exactly how she did it, but I know there's ways to do it out there. So I just had to share that with you because it just cracked me the hell up, and I know that it's cracked a bunch of you guys up. So thank you so much for all the messages. It's actually probably the most viewed video I've ever put on Facebook, with so far 495 views, which is crazy. But anyway, there you have it. That's something new and different. But it just cracks me up. It's so funny. It's like, really? It looks pretty real. The only thing that I wish is that at the end, when I'm obviously laughing because I said something that I was like, God, that doesn't sound right to say the dark, mysterious crevices of, and I was like, the paranormal. And then I started laughing, and the baby character just kind of goes, it's not like it's laughing, but it's pretty hilarious. So anyway, there you have it. Maybe you never saw that before. Maybe you have. I think these are everywhere, though. Everybody's putting some of these out. So it was really neat that, but that was timely, I guess, for a new AI trend. But all right, I guess that's about it on the front end. Let's get into the news and get the ball rolling here and see where the hell we get. Let's see where we get. Here we go, folks. Let's do the news. So you guys have to tell me, could you hear me coughing? I didn't even bother muting because I don't think the mic line is open during that scene, but did you hear me coughing? Let me know in the chat if you heard it. Let me know, because I don't know if that, I don't think it's picking up my voice at that point. I disabled the microphone for that segment, the transition. So anyway, okay, you didn't hear me coughing? Okay, good. That's good, because I was hacking good. No, not really. Just a couple coughs, but I didn't avoid the mic because I was curious if you guys would hear it. Now I know. All right, welcome to the news desk, ladies and gentlemen, here on the Paranormal Portal, where we explore all kinds of news. Sometimes it's really creepy and paranormally, and other times it's bizarre and weird. Sometimes it's technically exciting and odd. So whatever the case is, it's all news. Hopefully you guys enjoy this segment. I love doing it. It's just kind of fun to dive into some current events right off the bat and see what the hell's going on in the world around us, because I don't watch traditional news pretty much ever for obvious reasons. I don't feel like getting propaganda today, so I just kind of catch clips here and there. But this has been my exploration into the news, and I'm delighted to share it with all of you. So let's check out the news articles for tonight. Again, throughout the course of the show, we utilize a lot of different sites, and I only can encourage you guys, please support these sites. They're incredibly well done. These sites are doing it absolutely right, and the very least I can do is just try to promote what they're doing, because I want to highlight that. I want to spotlight that, because there's a lot of trash on the internet. There's a lot of crap sites. There's a lot of garbage and just trash. And so when I find these sites, I just think it's great to showcase them and say, hey, you guys check out what I saw here. This is amazing stuff. So, but please visit these sites. Please give them your love, give them your attention, because your traffic equals revenue and keeps the lights on for them. So helps to pay the bills, as it were. So this first site is our news site. It's been the go-to for news for quite a while now, and for obvious reasons, but it is called unexplained-mysteries.com. And the first article is actually right up our alley. So it's kind of a perfect fit. From creatures, myths, and legends files of unexplained-mysteries.com. Dubious Colorado Bigfoot clip sparks publicity stunt accusations. Huh. Yeah, I mean, there it is. They didn't even do the red circle. That's kind of refreshing. But yeah. It's real grainy at the very best, but anyway, let's see what it says. Recently released footage shows what appears to be a Bigfoot-like creature hiding among some trees. The clip, which comes courtesy of tour company Colorado River Expeditions, was filmed on May 24th of this year by a guide during the first trip of the season to the upper Colorado River. No CGI, no fakes, just wilderness and raw footage. The firm wrote in the video's caption. Okay, so that's not really an admission of it being a Bigfoot. It's just telling you what it isn't. It's not CGI. I don't know what they mean. Like fake, I assume, is maybe an AI or whatever. But it could be, and they would be honest, if it's just a guy in a suit. So you can't really discount that. And especially given what we have to work with here in this image. Now, I don't know. There's footage, apparently, so we'll check it out. I'm just going from this little screenshot here. I've not heard or seen anything about this. But anyway, let's see what it says. While many videos of alleged cryptids are too indistinct to make out, this one certainly isn't. The Bigfoot is clear as day and can be seen peeking out from behind the trees nearby. Tour participants can also be heard chatting in the background as the creature moves around. The video generally falls into the too good to be true category, not least because it's so clear, but because the supposed creature is so stereotypical in appearance that it's almost certainly someone wearing a Bigfoot costume. Its movements are also far too human to be a genuine animal. In all likelihood, the stunt was organized to gain publicity for the touring firm. You can check out the video for yourself below. The Bigfoot appears around the 43-second mark, which is exactly what we're going to do here. So just hold on while I get to the 43-second mark. I guess that's about right here. I mean, it's beautiful footage. Beautiful footage. There it is. Boy, the old rocking back and the exaggerated rocking back and forth. That's not even the subtle. Usually the rocking back and forth is described as I mean, it's definitely shifting weight side to side, but that was pretty exaggerated. Like, really notice me. And that, I mean, I'm not really on board with this being legit. I think it's a staged incident, but yeah, I don't know. Okay, so to me, that's not really screaming, hey, this is Bigfoot. This is screaming guy in the suit up on the hill, and probably very much to hopefully increase, awareness of their tours, probably. I guess I could blow it up and we could see it a little better here. Is it on screen okay for you guys? Yeah, there it is. Let's play the Bigfooty part again quick. There it is, right up here. That's just such an exaggerated rocking motion. They're making it look like a shy rocking motion, and I don't necessarily think that that's what Bigfoot is doing, is it's being shy. The tree peeking certainly would be, but if this was truly an animal that was, or a being that was trying to avoid being seen, it knows it does not behind cover. I mean, these things aren't that stupid. If they're tree peeking, it's around a pretty robust tree, and they're peeking out and then going back and peeking out and going back, kind of like, half the head. Not this, which is a very exaggerated motion considering this thing's clearly out of cover. And I think even animals know when they're exposed. I don't think that necessarily requires a whole bunch of intelligence. But I don't know. Again, could it be real? I guess it's in the realm of possibility, but I'm not really on board with this being a real representation. But Brent, if it's staged, where's the curtains and the dance number? Well, I didn't say it was staged to that regard. It's not theatrical, but it is a setup situation, I think. And, I don't know. I guess if that's how they want to drum up interest in what they're doing, okay, well, it's controversial and they got people talking. So there is that. There is plenty of exposure in Bigfoot. But this is, the sad part is this, it kind of detracts away from the real sightings and the real events that do happen that are extraordinary. But they're right. This is very timid and awkward and exaggerated. I mean, it just looks like somebody doing the fake prowler act, around Halloween, like. Maybe it's on shrooms. I don't know, Eric. I'm not sure. Are they in season now in Colorado? I don't know. They might be. Anyway, Paranormal Portal, Matthew Moneymaker said he believes it's a hoax too. I agree. Walks too human-like, waddles like a man in a bulky suit. Yeah, absolutely, Android. I agree. I agree with Mr. Moneymaker. I don't know Matt at all, but I think, for all of the, all the blows those guys took on finding Bigfoot, they did serve a huge benefit to the Bigfoot community because they got people talking. They got people talking like no other show ever had done in the realm of Bigfoot. So, and the, the ones that I have met, I've met Bobo and I've met Cliff, and they're both fantastic guys. They really are really nice guys. So it's not like they're, into this ego trip or anything like that. They're just real down to earth good people. So, yeah, there you have it. That's the first news story tonight. What do you think? I think we're all pretty. Let's just do a chat poll right now. This is the video chat poll right now. What do you think? Is this a Bigfoot? Number 1, if it's a Bigfoot. Number 0, if you think, nope, this is scammy, hoaxy crap. Let me know. 1 Bigfoot, 0 scammy hoax. Let me know in the chat. It's a chat poll. We do these live on the show every once in a while. So Maggie says, nope, no way, can't be. Cannot be. Rachel, no. Oh man, it's flying in, lots of zeros. Yeah, Phil Funk, Rock and Rory, BJ Lapierre, Bill Simone, all nopes. Chucky's no, Aussie's no, the Goblin is no. And Android says no, Cat Doherty. Yeah, I think we're all on the same page. Elaine and Josh both say no. Absolutely. Yeah, I think maybe 0, maybe 1. Oh, Eric, you're just being contrary now. I'm not going to say it's impossible voting against 0, okay? I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's just really, really improbable. Again, there's not a lot to go on here. This is literally just a few seconds of something moving on camera, but it's the arm length looks way too short. The shoulders are way too narrow. When people see these things, there are a biodiversity in what people witness. Some of them see them as lanky, athletic build. Some people, as hulking tanks. I mean, they do have a biodiversity, but this definitely looks like it's got a neck. Like it's got a neck and the head is sitting above the shoulders. But Bigfoot looks like something like, I don't know, I should go full screen here. Something like this, and this is not even enough, but it looks like the head is actually down on the chest. Like there's no visible neck. It's just this mountain of shoulders. So even on the lanky ones, they don't seem to have an observable neck. So I think this is hoax, but again, I'm not pretending to be an arbiter of the truth, but that's my take. I get a vote too, and that's my vote. So that's the first story. We've got more because here's the next one from the extraterrestrial files. I have no idea what this one means. I pulled it up and I was like, what the hell does that mean? But I figured we'd read it tonight and find out together. Here it is from unexplained-mysteries.com. Could the sustainability solution explain why we haven't found ET? Huh? I don't understand that headline at all, but let's check out the article. It's not too long. We can get right through it. Scientists have proposed yet another potential explanation for why we have yet to discover evidence of intelligent aliens. The question of whether we're alone in the universe remains one of the biggest philosophical conundrums of our time. While it seems almost inconceivable that our civilization is alone in the cosmos, the fact still remains that we have yet to see any evidence to the contrary. The Fermi paradox, which highlights the contradiction between the likely existence of extraterrestrial civilizations and the fact that we still have never encountered any, seems to suggest that either there are no aliens out there or they are so rare that it's unlikely we'll ever come across them. It's also possible that we just can't detect them. We don't have the tools. And the other part of it is that space is really big, and there could be billions and billions of different civilizations out there that we just wouldn't bump into. It's like someone sitting out on an island in the Pacific going, yeah, we're the only things going on this whole planet, because they're not aware of the other things going on the whole planet. And that's certainly our case. It's like, how do you jump to conclusions when basically we're not even toddlers yet? We're still like infants in our understanding of the universe. And yet we're trying to quantify these philosophical questions like we have all the information. We have none. We have almost no information about all of the workings and the mechanics and of reality and the universe, space, time, etc. And yet this arrogance. But anyway, let's see what it says. I already read the Fermi thing. But what if the real explanation is that alien technology is simply too indistinguishable from nature. Ooh, actually, that's a good take. Proposed back in 2009 by scientists Jacob Hock Misra and Seth Baum, the sustainability solution suggests that advanced civilizations may not be motivated by spreading across the cosmos. The kind of expansion we imagine from science fiction, such as colonizing entire galaxies and building Dyson spheres to harvest energy from stars, may be unsustainable. Instead, alien civilizations that survive might have done so by seamlessly blending their technology with the environment and by favoring balance with nature over building high-tech megastructures. Perhaps the universe is teeming with intelligent alien races that we have little chance of ever detecting because they figured out how to live with their planet instead of consuming it. In this case, it could also mean that this is the road on which our own civilization must ultimately travel in order to avoid its own destruction. Actually, that's a very, very good take. I've said similar things in the past, and I'm not patting myself on the back, but you know, it's like the radio telescopes. Like we're listening for radio waves in the universe, because if there's intelligent life out there, they must have radio waves. Well, no, they might. Their technology might have gone down a whole different pathway, a whole different avenue of development than ours did. And maybe they utilize, you know, natural structures and mechanics in order to build their technology around. Maybe they didn't, you know, harvest and refine and develop and, you know, tear things out of the earth to create these other things that don't really, you know, blend with the environment around them. So, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, it's a great take. I think that's a good one. I think that's interesting. Based on human behavior, I would not want to visit this planet either. Like Goblin says, yeah, that's true. I mean, honestly, if you just watch, you know, if you do watch the news, you get a whole helping of human dysfunction in a short period of time. It's like, yeah, I mean, if that's what they're getting for their briefings of what's going on here, hell no, I wouldn't come here either. I mean, unfortunately, that's not even the most of what's happening here, but it's certainly the most of what gets talked about, all the bad stuff. So if you're an alien civilization and you're sitting and monitoring our transmissions, you're gonna think, yeah, stay the hell away from that. There might be an interstellar beacon warning other travelers away. Don't come here. These guys are messed up. And it's because of maybe because they are looking at our transmissions going, this place is a mess. Stay away. I guess I had company. I didn't see where it was, though, but it was company. It said. So anyway, interesting take. I do like this article. Very, very well done. I like the angle of their approach. Absolutely right. Maybe we can't listen for it because we don't understand how their technology works. What if it works on a quantum level? Like they're communicating, you know, using quantum entanglement and other quantum mechanics that we can't possibly understand, where they can communicate in real time across any distance of space because of quantum entanglement. If you're not familiar with that, basically that's like if you were to fracture an atom and take one of the the protons or electrons or protons from an atom and take one to each side of the galaxy. If you moved one on one completely different side of the galaxy, the other one would move in real time, equivalent to the motion that you're creating on the one on the other side of the galaxy. So I'm like, duh. That's like, if you can vibrate something on one side of the galaxy to create communication, whether it's a binary vibration or if it's, you know, just even an audio file, like this is a vibration. If you vibrated that atom to replicate my voice, the one on the other side of the galaxy, or even possibly in other galaxies, would vibrate at the same place and replicate my voice through appropriate technology. So, I mean, wow, why not? Why would they bother with radio waves? Just saying. All right, well, there you go. Just some food for thought, something to think about, but just some thoughts. But there's more, because there's always more. I've got more to give you. At least one more, and that is this one. From the world of the bizarre, folks. I like these World of Bizarre stories because they truly are just like, what the hell? What the hell was someone thinking? Well, here's from the what the hell was someone thinking files. Not quite the what the hell was that, but what the hell was someone thinking? Let's see what they were thinking. According to unexplained-mysteries.com, World of Bizarre Files, airport authorities discover 47 live vipers inside a man's luggage. Huh? What? All right, animal smuggling is a major concern these days, but even veteran security officers were shocked by this discovery. According to reports, custom officials at an airport in Mumbai, India, intercepted a suspicious man returning from Thailand on Sunday. Upon inspecting his luggage, they were stunned to find that he was attempting to smuggle 52 live reptiles into the country. Why? Among the illicit cargo were 3 spider-tailed horned vipers, 5 Asian leaf turtles, and a staggering 44 Indonesian pit vipers, all protected species and illegal to import without proper permits. The shocking discovery echoes a similar incident from February when officials at the same airport found 5 Simong gibbons stuffed inside a passenger's trolley bag. Gibbons! What the hell? Just a few months earlier in November, 2 travelers were also arrested for trying to sneak in 12 exotic turtles from Bangkok. Animal smuggling through airports remains a serious and ongoing issue, with traffickers resorting to increasingly bizarre and sophisticated methods to evade detection. Exactly where these animals would have ended up if they hadn't been found remains unclear. Yep, there you go. Snakes and Planes. I didn't see that movie, but I got an idea how that would work. Could you imagine? Like vipers, I think they're pretty venomous. Like generally speaking, vipers are the venomous snakes, right? Am I correct? There's the constrictors, and then there's the vipers, and then there's just the more ambiguous ones, I guess. I don't know, like garter snakes or whatever they are. I don't know if they're necessarily either, but yeah, that's strange. Horribly weird stuff. Again, stupid people. Why? I guess the illicit animal trade must be pretty bizarre, and probably going to people with a hell of a lot of money. I mean, because you'd have to pay somebody and pay them quite a lot to make them willing to do something so colossally stupid. But there's no shortage of stupidity here on the planet, but there's some people definitely could win a prize for it. There you go. All right, that's basically the news. I hope you guys found that interesting. Yes, vipers, venom. Okay, that's what I thought. Yep. That's what I thought. Thank you, BJ. Appreciate the backup on that. I don't pretend to know a lot, but there's some things I think I know. at least I think I know. But anyway, let's get back to the rest of the show. There you go, folks. That was the news. Hopefully you feel like you've learned and grown and just an all-around better person because of the news. You never know. At least this is a news that hopefully isn't too hard to swallow and doesn't make you angry at the world. Like the rest of the news I watch. It's like, yeah, we suck. God, we suck. It doesn't feel good to watch the news. It doesn't feel good to listen to how much is sucking in the world every day. That's no way to live, you know? When that's your worldview based upon whatever's on the news, man, it's no wonder people are like whipped into an emotional frenzy because they're just being so programmed all the time. It's so ridiculous. All right, well, anyway, what do you call a snake that works for the government? A civil serpent. Oh, Phil Funk. Coming in with the dad jokes. Love it, brother. Wish Sheldon was here. He would have loved that. He would be howling. Sheldon loves a good dad joke. Paranormal Portal, you got a $10 super chat, new membership from Marie Garman during the news. Oh, thank you, Marie. Thank you for the new membership. I did miss that. When the hell did that happen? Usually I'm up to date. No, I usually miss a lot of stuff, but thank you to our amazing chat. Thank you, Android, for doing that. Thank you, Marie. Finally. That's so nice. It's so good you're here, Marie. Thank you so much. All right. I didn't realize how long ago that was. I had to scroll way up there, but I'm sorry I missed that. But congratulations. Thank you. That goes a long way. And thank you for the super chat. It's amazing. Thanks, Android. Appreciate the heads up. All right. So this is time for the new segment, the newer segment anyway of the show. And again, I have Barbara Mora to thank for tonight's story. Hello to Car Juice, came over on Rumble. Good to see you. Trying to keep seeing. Vincent Sanchez came in over here. Good to see you, Vincent. Chucky Danger's here. Did I say hi to you before, Chucky? If not, hello. Hi, Ristel. Thanks for coming in. So just trying to say hello to everybody that I can see when you guys come in. All right, here's the I got to get my thoughts straight. Sometimes I start talking. All right, I've got to tell you, I'm actually severely jealous. Hi, Jackie. Good to see you. Hello, Stephanie. Great to see you over on Facebook. Thanks for coming in. I have to tell you, I'm severely envious of Dave Scott. And it's, I like Dave a lot. He's just a wonderful guy. He's just turned out to be just family to me. We just really get along well. Wonderful guy, but I am absolutely envious of his ability to host a show, actively doing an interview, watching the technical stuff, reading and responding to chat, and all of that in real time. Like, the guy has got to be a multidimensional entity. I don't know how the hell he does so many things at once. And look, I've been at this for 8 years. 8 years now I've been doing the portal, and I'm still no closer to getting that whole multifaceted thing cooking. I'm in a whole different zone. But it's not just tech though. I think because he's actively asking questions and typing in the chat and reading the chat, responding to chat, and then he's always got to watch his timers and stuff. So he's just very good at what he does. I'm very impressed. Hello, Joanne Holt over on Facebook. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Thank you very much. But he's phenomenal with questions. He is. Dave's a great interviewer. And he's just very good. I agree. Yeah, Android, I agree. It's very impressive. Honestly, I'm just not a multitasker. I'm a serial monotasker. But anyway, there you have it. So we're going to get to the new segment now. This is time. Again, special thank you to Barbara Mora for bringing us the material within which we are going to discuss today. I don't know what this is. I'm going to go right up on the front end, but this video has been around for years. This is definitely an old video. It's been at least 5 years old, if not older. I don't know. On this posting, it was 3 years ago that it posted onto this Facebook page, but we'll get to all that in a minute. But I'd seen clips of this before 3 years ago, before the 2020s, I'm sure. I'm sure it was in the teens somewhere, the 20 teens, that I first saw it and was like, what the hell am I looking at? But let's check it out. Here we go, folks. It is time for the new segment.
What the hell is that?
I get a kick out of that every time. Very cool. Special thanks to Owl for that beautiful transition. So here's the thing. Again, what the hell is that is a new segment where we go over things. It might be just exposing AI. It might be discussing evidence. Look, this is a claim. This is what I think. Kind of like we did with the Bigfoot video on the news. But it's also just weird stuff like, what do you guys think? What the hell is that? And this is definitely the what the hell is that in the what the hell is that segment. So here it is. This is a video that's been around again for a long time. And I'm not sure what we're looking at, but this is coming from The Third Eye YouTube page, which has 1,000 subscribers, and I don't think this is the origin of this clip, but definitely, certainly give them some love over on the Third Eye. I don't know what else they're posting over there, but thank you, Barbara, for sending this to me, and let's check it out. There is sound, but there's no music. I did watch it earlier because this is a more robust video version than I've seen before. This looks like the whole encounter. We're going to watch it through. This is a 2.5 minute video. We're going to watch it through, and then we'll zero in on some points that I think are interesting. And certainly if you guys have questions, again, please put them in all capitals, but what the hell is that in this case? I don't know, but it's certainly bizarre. Here we go. Oh, there is music. Damn it. All right. We're not going to play the music because I don't want to get blasted by YouTube or surrender what monetization I get. So there's the goats. These are obviously a couple goat herders. Again, I'm not sure if this is from Central America, South America, or Asia. I'm not sure where this is from. Looks like it could be the Philippines or Vietnam or Thailand or South America. There's very similar, some of the rural farming and stuff. But notice the black stuff that they keep poking at and stuff. That's where you want to focus, around that white goat there that has the black on it. Something is latched onto that. And it's really unclear what the hell that is. But it's got this draping, like a black draping edge to it. And those guys are chasing it because, and I'm not sure if it hurt the goat. It looked like the goat was fine. I don't know. It might have been draining, but there they are. They're hacking at it with these sticks. Obviously trying to attack it. There it goes, like it's getting dragged off. But it's incredibly interesting. What is it? I don't know. Again, it's definitely in a jungle region. Could it just be something that snagged a bunch of black cloth? Because there's black pieces of stuff laying around in that pin. But you watch, they keep chasing it and they end up in the water area here. And it's like it's in the water and they're smacking at it. And you can't really see much during this part of the video, but they're obviously really trying to do something, like do it in, whatever it is. They're plenty freaked out. I don't know if it's aquatic now or what, if it's actually under the surface or if they're just beating the hell out of it as it's on the surface. I don't know, but keep watching because it continues. They keep chasing and smacking. And obviously there's a lot of junk in the water too, so it's hard to see. But there you go. You get an idea that it is swimming under the water at this point, then gets up to the land and goes on land. Could it be a hoax? Sure, I guess, but I don't know. It could just be some kind of art project for all I know. But if it's a real creature, that's very strange, right? Here's some of the points that I want to focus on. It's actually before this. There. Okay, and this is where I'm going to break it down frame by frame, but you can kind of see I'm going to go backward a little bit. It looks like a lighter face. Obviously, it's kind of clinging on. Looks like it's clinging on. And it's possible the goat, this is maybe not wrapped around the goat, but it might be. That head did move there a little bit. See that? If that is indeed a head. And again, I'm speculating, but I'm going to go back a little bit further. Okay, so it kind of seems to be kind of wrapped around the one front leg, and then from under here is like a head protrusion. And then it kind of shoots out and then goes side to side a little bit. Meanwhile, they're poking with sticks at whatever the hell this is. And I don't pretend to know. Granted, it just could be a scam. It could be a hoaxy, jokey scam, but I've never heard anything come of it. I don't see any wound on the goat itself, but they don't really focus on it either. But they're kind of going around, and again, it kind of looks like it might be some kind of face, maybe an eye thing going on here. I don't know what even I'm looking at, to be honest with you. but it's like it's tangled in the leg there, or I don't know, wrapped around that leg somehow, and then around over the back, around this leg, it looks like as well. And then it kind of cuts there. So that's kind of weird that it cut, but it's like, I don't know, is that like pieces of it breaking off, or is that it's dragging, I guess. And there's a flashlight on the ground chasing, and the goat is running, and it's running with them. I'm just going to go frame by frame through this part because I think this is that's the most detail we ever get of whatever this is. And now they cut over to the side, and it's another cut there, from there to there. So it's not as if it hasn't been edited at all. It has been edited some. But here's the point where they're running over, chasing. And they get to, again, I'm clicking if you're ever in a YouTube video, and I'll just share this with you guys, you can stop the YouTube video or pause it like this and use the period and comma button on your keyboard to go backwards and forwards frame by frame. So I'm using the period to go forward in normal frame by frame. So what are you guys thinking of this? Correction on what the hell is that? Yeah, this is a what the hell is that? I'm just going to look at the chats a little bit here as we go forward. Anybody say anything? This is in the Amazon, could be a totally new species. Yeah, it does seem to be cryptid, and I'll tell you what I'm thinking of initially when I saw it was like, well, maybe like a chupacabra kind of thing, except it doesn't account for this. There's another kind of take of that head doing something, and it looks like it's kind of breaking away from the goat at this point. I don't know, but let's keep going. Or it had broken away from the goat. I'm not sure. But that guy kind of like gets freaked out and looks like he's running away like, yeah. So I don't know what he saw for sure. But we're going to continue going forward. I just wanted to break it down a little bit, what we're seeing. It's filmed with a potato as usual, especially given the age of this video. And there is some cuts, so we don't know what's going on between there. Could be as simple as some kids just setting up a shot for a little fun film project that they were doing. But it could be possibly legitimate as well. I don't know. There's a lot of weird reports obviously coming in all the time about strange things that seem to not follow the normal flow of things. Like, it doesn't fit anything really that I've ever seen before. So I'm going to continue going. It's a bearcat or binturong. Andy Manul says it's a bearcat or binturong. I assume you're being legitimate here, so I'm gonna actually look up what is a bearcat. What is a bearcat? Oh, interesting. What do they eat? A varid native to South and Southeast Asia. It is uncommon in much of its range. Okay. What is it dragging, though? What is it dragging? I'm going to put this up so you guys can see it. That's a great take. I've never heard of a bearcat or binturong. What do they eat, though? What do bearcats eat? Let's check, because that's not a bad possibility, actually. That's not a bad possibility. What does a bearcat eat? Bearcat binturongs are carnivores that primarily eat omnivores, sorry. Primarily eat fruit, especially figs. They also consume small animals, insects, eggs, and leaves. Their diet may include dog food in captivity, ground meat, and fruits like plantains. Yeah, I mean, why would it be latched onto a goat, though? Let's just see. Do bearcat attack livestock? Yes, binturongs can and do attack livestock, particularly smaller animals like poultry and young livestock. According to the Virginia Zoo, While they primarily eat fruits, they also consume a variety of other animals, including birds, rodents, reptiles, and insects. Binturongs are also known to be fierce when threatened and may use their powerful jaws and teeth in self-defense. Okay, well, it's possible. That's a great take. Thank you. Like I said, it doesn't always have to be something new and different. It might be just something that's out there that we're just not familiar with. Okay. Could be a bear cat. I don't know what all the black stuff it's dragging is, but that could just be what it picked up in that enclosure. You know, it might have just been something that was snagged on it in that enclosure. So that is a possibility. I don't know what they're hitting it with. That's pretty quick though. I don't know how quick they are. But again, it could just be an art project or something silly like that. But it could be something legitimately freaky and weird. I don't know for sure, but I got to tell you, anyway, that Binturong or Bearcat idea is a pretty good guess. I still say bad, Amanda says. I'm just catching up with the chat. Brent, Bearcat. Yeah, I'm seeing your post. Sorry. It's a bat. Amanda's crazy. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how a bat would affect. That'd be a huge bat. Now there's flying foxes and you know, things like that, but they are fruit eaters. They don't eat meat. There are vampire bats, but they are tiny little things, kind of like our North American bats. So a bear cat, someone knit it a shirt. Cute. Mickey G, you gotta go. Have to be up early. Good night, Mickey G. Thank you for coming in. So there it is. I don't know, but still very interesting. A bear cat with rabies? Yeah, maybe Android. That's a good take. Bear cats are 3 foot long and have a 3-foot tail behind them, so they would appear that long. Yeah, but it looked like it was dragging some kind of cloth as well, and I don't know. Again, there was black cloth in the enclosure as well, and we're only looking at whatever's lit by the camera, and then a flashlight or two. So interesting though. Again, this is an old video. I've seen it years and years ago, but that does match. I mean, I got to say that really matches what we might be looking at. So great solution possibilities, you guys. Thank you. That's exactly why we do this segment, and who knows, but this has been
The hell is that?
And I don't know what the hell that is, but I know what time it is now, though. It's time for us to get to our next part of the show, which is where we're going to go back into the Skinwalker files here. We are the Paranormal Portal detectives, and we nailed it. Next case. Amen, Phil. I mean, that's exactly it. That's the same reason I love the question of the week. It's the very same reason I love the question of the week, because look, all I can do is tell you that there's things I don't understand. We talk about those things, but I love the fact that we all think about them. And there's some of us may have solutions or may have ideas, and that I never would have thought of a bear cat in a million years. I had no concept of that before tonight. And it's like, maybe I've heard of it somewhere, but just, I don't know, a bear cat. Okay. But now that we looked for context and we looked for, you know, collaboration or corroboration to what we're seeing with what this is. Yeah. I mean, they do eat meat. Generally, it sounds like they prefer smaller meat, but would it be opposed to latching onto a goat where it couldn't really defend itself and chewing? Probably not. Probably could happen. So that makes sense. But there you have it. Fantastic. Thank you, everybody, for your thoughts and ideas. And is a bear in the moonlight reflects off swamp gas? Could be. Down here in Florida, if the bear cats roll up, someone's going to have a bad day. They have them in Florida? Wait a minute. You have them in Florida, Ristel? It said they were from Asia, but are they over here too? A solid black badger known as a bear cat. That's why I say. That's what I say. Yeah. I mean, it does look like a little badger from the images from the Google search for sure. And again, that was filmed on a potato. There's not much to go by. So interesting stuff though. There we go. Time for a brand new water to keep me going through the night. But now it is time for the Thought Catalog article dealing with the skinwalkers. And again, Bearcat could have been trying to eat bodfly larvae from the goat's skin. Yeah, you know what? That's not a bad take, too. I don't know. They're armored vehicles like SWAT teams use. Oh, okay. Okay, I got you. All right, different kind of Bearcat. Maybe that's where I've heard the term before. I don't know. Yeah. All right. Thanks, Crystal. I appreciate that. Not so much of the natural fauna, but more of the armored vehicles. Gotcha. All right. Let's get to this article again. It's from Thought Catalog. It's written by, we're on number 8 of this part. It is, I think it's another one of the Reddit scrape articles, but I think it's by Jacob Greers is the best I can tell. There's 2 articles in the series. One was, little known facts about the skinwalkers. And then we've been going through these actual claims of people's encounters with skinwalkers. So we've been going through the actual claims now. We're on number 8. Again, this is thoughtcatalog.com, so please check it out. Here we go. Skinwalker stories are fascinating to me. Again, these are legends that are literally as old as time, of people seeing these apparently very nefarious, evil beings, creatures, people, humanoids, humans, maybe. I don't know. I'm not really sure that they're people, normal people, or are they somehow different or transformed or what's going on. But again, you be the judge. But here we are. We're on number 8. It was like it knew we knew what it really was. I decided to join my bestie Karen for a 3-day stay at her grandmother's place on the res. Her grandmother lives near a... Did we not read this one? Wait a minute. No. I don't know if we did. We're going to read it again, though. Sorry, I just had to look. It might be the same as another story. It might be the very same story. I decided to join my bestie Karen for a 3-day stay at her grandmother's place on the res. Her grandmother lives near a place called Tuba City, Arizona, in the middle of nowhere, but it's surrounded by rural homes. We go to college together, and I was kind of interested to know about Navajo tradition. And the first day we stayed, it was pretty chill, nothing out of the ordinary. But then her grandmother, not that old, around 67, said that a stray dog came out of nowhere and wouldn't leave. To me, it did act kind of strange, and it was ugly looking. Black, shaggy coat, looked like a mix between a German Shepherd and a lab. But that night we were watching a movie in the living room, had big windows that looked out into the front, where the cars are parked, nothing fancy. With the curtains wide open, Grandma was in the kitchen cooking dinner, and we were watching a movie, and next to the window is a medium bookshelf where the DVDs are kept. Karen went to put a DVD back, and we had just watched, but she freaked out because that stray black dog was staring at us through the window, standing on top of the wood box outside. Not something normal dogs do from my point of view or hers. Usually my dog, which is a house dog, scratches at the door to be let in. Res dogs aren't house dogs. Dogs inside houses are frowned upon in the Navajo tradition. It's meant to protect the house and the owner. The other dogs seemed to stay away from it, and Karen opened the door and yelled at it to get off the box, and it ran off behind the shed. We went to Tuba City to get some groceries and came back to the house. The dog was nowhere to be seen. Nothing unusual. Grandma went to visit some people, so it was just Karen and I. About 5 o'clock, we heard someone trying to open the door. Both of us looked out since there had been no car heard and no dogs were barking. Looking out of the living room window to the door, and there was the dog trying to open the door with its paws. 2 paws wrapped around the brass doorknob, standing on its hind legs. Well, I thought that was weird, but wasn't really freaked out. But Karen was. She opened the door and chased it off, and Grandma came back later, and Karen told her Grandma didn't like what she heard. Got ready to sleep. We slept in the spare bedroom since it had 2 beds. One window with curtains opened a little. And we turned off the light, but there was a sound coming from on top of the roof. Pitter-patter footsteps and scratching sounds. and panting. And it then sounded like it jumped off into a large plastic water barrel that they had. And at first we heard what sounded like barking, but as it grew louder, the other dog seemed to be barking at something also. But all of a sudden, something was running around the house barking, and it was no dog. Nope, it wasn't. This barking sounded human, a deep male voice barking like it knew that we knew it wasn't a dog. Woof, 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 ruff, ruff, arf, arf, arf. Just exactly like that, adding the W's, R's, and A's, and then panting again by the window. And we started freaking out. Karen decided to, in my opinion was stupid, open the curtains to look out, and there was the stray dog on its hind legs looking into our bedroom, but this time it stunk. And what I thought were two black holes in the neck, or another pair of eyes, twinkled. Think of those ugly, glossy spider eyes staring at you. And the paws were deformed-looking hands with overgrown, somewhat thick and sharp fingernails. Again, both screaming and shutting the curtains closed, Grandma came running through the door, and seeing it, first thing she did was grab ashes from the fireplace and load 3 shells into the shotgun from under her bed. Bless herself in Navajo and went outside to shoot it, yelling in Navajo about how the thing wasn't welcome there and to get the hell out of there for it to go linger somewhere else. Them both being traditional, the next day they called a medicine man to come over and put cedar in. He prayed over everyone with cedar smoke and an eagle feather, blessed the place, made us eat bitter herbs called eagle's gull or something, and gave me an arrowhead. Apparently I needed to carry one for protection, and a little pouch called corn pollen. Seems to work pretty well. The medicine man said that the dog was a skinwalker, which in Navajo was a long word, but I call them Yoshis. I think it means Yinadlushi. The body of the stray dog, which was killed by the skinwalker, made an illusion so we wouldn't know it wasn't a real dog. He also said that Yoshis tend to harm people by using some sort of human bone straw to spit at someone. Think spitballs, only deadlier, and get human bones into them. Doctors can't detect it, but the medicine man that day pulled a piece of human skull out of Grandma's right shoulder. Pretty big, about 2 inches long and 1 centimeter thick. It was real because we watched him pull it out of her. That was intense. That's why that story was similar, or familiar, as I've heard that one before. We've covered it on the show years ago, but yeah, great story. Again, skinwalkers are often, when they're seen, one of the places they're seen most commonly is digging up graves. Well, that's where those human bones come from, apparently. It's kind of creepy. It's a lot creepy, actually, but yeah, crazy stuff. All right, let's go to number 9. I used to be a skeptic, but not after this. It says, I was visiting my grandparents out in Shiprock, New Mexico during last October to see family and to go to the Northern Navajo Nation Fair that week. Many Navajo people, including my own family, are very reluctant to speak about skinwalkers because it's believed to attract their attention. However, I grew up away from the Navajo Nation and was very naive about that subject. When it came to skinwalkers, I was an absolute skeptic. My mom used to tell a story of how back in the 80s, when she lived with her siblings and my grandparents, still in Shiprock, but the southern outskirts, and about how she and my aunt saw a skinwalker just outside their driveway under a streetlight. She described it as a black dog with dirty fur, a twisted noodle-like front leg, and these unnatural eyes with a soft burnt orange glow. Well, me being my own closed-minded self doubted every word, but I never said my doubts out loud. But these doubts totally changed last year when I went to my grandparents' house. Me and my family had just finished going to the carnival at the Navajo Nation Fair and just called it a night. The house was close enough where we could walk home in just 10 minutes. So we did. When we got there, it was about 9 at night, where we stayed up until about 2, catching up about family affairs and the local news. And it was during that time that I just decidedly opened my mouth and blurted out the question, "Hey, are skinwalkers real, guys?" I asked. "You shouldn't be speaking about that," my grandmother said, with almost a disturbed yell in her voice. So she and my grandfather both decided to go to bed. After being scolded by my mom, one of my aunts chimes in with a very cautious tone and says, "They're real, all right. Had a few start screaming outside of my trailer in Farmington just a few nights ago. Your cousin had nightmares the whole night and woke up crying that morning." Well, not wanting to push the discomfort any further, we all decided to go to bed. Now, the trailer home is pretty old, and it was a really nice night, so we slept with the windows open, with the screens to prevent bugs from coming in. Everyone had drifted off to sleep except me, because my mind was still going a million miles a minute about skinwalkers, and wondered if I ever encountered one here on the reservation. As a kid, I was told it was taboo to even think about skinwalkers, because it can still call their attention. And that's when the poop hit the fan. Just as I was getting settled in and finally relaxed for sleep, I started to hear something moving outside. Well, I get up from the couch and start wandering over to the kitchen window. In the trailer, all the rooms have the lights out, so the only visible light that can be seen is from the porch light out front. I was thankful for this, because I told myself if it really was a skinwalker outside, then hopefully it wouldn't notice me seeing it. So I mustered up the courage and take a quick scan of outside. And from the porch light, all I can see is the dusty ground and the vehicles that my family drove, along with some old metal trash cans that stood beside the road. Looking for about a good 5 seconds, I wasn't able to see anything, so I was getting ready to turn around and walk back to bed, thinking it was just a stray cat or something. Only have taken 2 steps, and I hear what sounds like a distorted scream coming from outside, definitely close by. Fear rising, I look outside again, and there I see it. A coyote-like figure was staring in my direction from behind the cars, just outside of the reach of the porch light. Only it looked awfully wrong and gave off an evil vibe just seeing it. It was gray with very disheveled hair, and a horrific orange-red soft glow came from its eyes. Well, I noped the hell out and ran back to the bedroom. It was at this moment I'd begun to also notice an awful stench in the air that smelled like rotting meat. I started trying to wake my mom, who was like, "Oh my God, it's almost 3 a.m. What do you want?" I immediately began in a shaken voice, "There's something scary outside." Then she said, now annoyed because I woke her up, "It's probably just a stray animal or something. It's the res. Animals wander all the time at night." She obviously wasn't getting the drift of what was going on, so I screamed, "There's some Blair Witch Project crap going on outside, Mom." And that got her attention. "What? What the hell are you talking about?" she asked. And then we heard it. The thing outside started making more of its dreadful, like screams, and started what sounded like thrashing outside on the ground. "Hear that? That's what I'm talking about." So both her and I got back up and looked outside the window, and the coyote thing was making its way to the door. It walked with an odd limp and dragged its back right leg as if it was handicapped. We could hear it start to scratch against the door and make this odd, muffled moaning sound. My mom went and got my dad, and they both started shouting in Navajo, all sorts of words telling the thing to go away and saying it's not welcome here. Well, all this commotion was enough to get the rest of the trailer up as they all came out into the hallway, and the only thing my mom did was turn to them and said, "Skinwalker," while proceeding to point to the door. The noise is still happening. And apparently they already knew exactly what to do, as my grandfather got out a handgun from the drawer and a bag of ashes. He coated a few bullets and loaded them into the gun and went straight to the door. Yelling out more Navajo that was too fast for me to comprehend, he swung open the door and fired twice. Nothing. The thing managed to escape before my grandfather could put a bullet in it. That's the fastest one I've ever seen, said my grandpa. Next thing you know, my aunts and my parents are freaking out about what had just happened, saying stuff like, what if it comes back tomorrow? And it saw us. Does that mean we're targets now? Well, afterwards, my grandparents calmed everyone down, myself included, saying, we'll be fine. And we all went to bed. Morning comes and my grandparents call one of their neighbors and explain to them what happened. And apparently one of them was a medicine man who used to take part in Yibiche's Navajo ceremonies used for healing and curing sickness. And he came over to bless each family member on the grounds outside. Today, I'm very convinced that what I saw was a skinwalker. I still plan on going back for more visits to the family and the Northern Navajo Nation Fair, which is fun stuff. I just adamantly hope that I never have such an awful experience like that again. Yeah, no kidding. Horrifying stuff, right? Yikes. Crazy, crazy stuff. All right. How are we doing for time? 9:25. All right, we'll do one more, and then we'll head over to the cryptids to close the night out, I guess. It just goes so fast here. It goes so fast on the portal. It's like I just get started, and it's like, oh, hey, guys, we're out of time. Time to go. I did start a little bit late, though, so we'll go right up to about the 9 o'clock mark tonight. Or thereabouts. Thereabouts. I'm going to get a drink, though. So the next one is it walked up and down the ramp all night. Sounds pretty freaky, right? What do you guys think of the skinwalker thing? I wish there was a way we could get real-time responses from you, but I'm curious. Actually, let's do another chat poll if you guys don't mind. Do you think skinwalkers are a real thing, a real phenomena? And this is, again, there's no wrong answers, just like anything else. 1, yes, you believe in the skinwalkers, that it's a very real phenomena, or 0, nah, superstition. Just old superstitions. What do you guys think? Let me know in the chats what you think. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. And again, where the hell did my mouse go? There it is. There isn't a wrong answer. There's no right or wrong answer. Owl 13, yep. Rachel, yep. Aussie Tiger, yep. Michelle Wolfong, yes, I believe. Mary Wins says yes. And BJ Lapierre says yes, I believe they're real. Very cool. Rock and Rory, yep. Michelle Wolfong again, number 1, yep. Chucky, yes. Android, yes. 1, yes, but Legend, 0. So you believe, what does that mean, Android? Like you believe there was a legendary story that's true, or do you think that people still experience them? I just want to understand what that means. Phil Funk, 1, yep. Josh Orban Casto, yep. And Hardwick Big D, yep. Annie Manuel, 1 and 2, or 1 and 0, interpreted through culture. Sure. Again, we're kind of on the outside looking into the phenomena. It does seem to be, as far as I can understand, outside of Skinwalker Ranch, there just aren't a lot of people that have a lot of encounters with skinwalkers unless they're part of that observation. And maybe it's people are seeing them, and maybe they're not sure what they're seeing. And so we get them as dogman reports. Not that there aren't also dogmen, but you know what I'm saying. It's like, well, it's big and fluffy. It must be a bear. Well, not necessarily. Could be a Bigfoot. Could be a dogman. Could be any number of things. So I think that sometimes we don't have the vocabulary to acknowledge what we're seeing. So we just slap a label on that's as close as we can come to it. Kind of like that 3-year-old that was lost in the wilderness in the winter and came back, was found 3 days later telling a story about how this bear took care of it, took care of the child. I don't think a bear took care of the child because, of course, bears hibernate. And additionally, I don't think a 3-year-old has necessarily, in most cases, has a vocabulary to say Bigfoot or Sasquatch. It's not part of our childhood vocabularies in most cases. So, yeah, John Labella says 1, yep. It's likely another type of shadow entity, not a shaman that can change shape. Oh, fair enough. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, it sure could be right. Mike Prine says Indian boy high on peyote running around with the living room rug. Could be, Mike. Yeah, I mean, it could be. That's some of the basis could be more based in, some of the spiritual observations, including, the use of peyote and hallucinogens in order for spiritual journeys, as it were. Josh says, I knew one back in the day. You knew a skinwalker? Is that what you're telling me? That's bizarre. And I've always wondered about that. What are the skinwalker? Are they people that have learned some forbidden practice and they're just people like us? Or are they kind of something else that's like us, but not like us? I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, it's, very cool. I'd like to know more about that, Josh. You gotta fill me in on what you're talking about there. And you can certainly do it via email if you'd rather not try to spell it out in chat or whatever. But yeah, that's fascinating. I think there's something to it. I mean, obviously, any legend that continues to persist, I think, is powerful, and certainly seems to lend itself to an ongoing phenomena. Now, why do I say that? Well, there's plenty that don't, like the Loveland frogmen that were experienced, but then they just kind of stopped being experienced. And then there's the the Flatwoods monster in Flatwoods, Kentucky. It's like they saw this weird, I don't know, almost piece of technology creature, and then it just was there, and then it wasn't. And so there's plenty of that stuff. But misidentified encounters could not be counted for. And being scared could be why we don't have much evidence to look at. Sure. Marie Garman says one. She's in. She's all on board. So, yeah. Yep. Good point, Phil. And again, there aren't any wrong answers. You could be absolutely right. We could all be absolutely right. We could all be absolutely wrong. I don't know. Again, it's the thing that's hardest for me to wrap my head around is just the limited amount of information that has been shared about them. And I don't know, maybe there isn't that much more to share. I don't know. And there's certainly the fear that by sharing it, they're targeting the sharer. And I can't blame people for not wanting to put themselves in harm's way if they have a firm belief that that is real. I think it's a real phenomenon. I don't know about the whole, if you talk about it, then it becomes aware of you. Maybe that's some form of resonance. Like, I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't know what I'm trying to say. But let's read number 10, and then we'll move on to the cryptids. It walked up and down the ramp all night. I was staying at my grandpa's trailer in Arizona for a couple of days with my mom and dad and two brothers. I forgot why we went out there, but it had to be important because my dad never tagged along with us out there. Well, anyway, come nighttime and everyone's asleep except me. I'm watching Nickelodeon on the TV in the living room when I hear footsteps walking on the front porch. Well, since my grandpa was up there in years, he had a long wooden ramp up to his door. I was expecting something to come to the door and knock, but nothing happened except that it kept walking up and down the ramp. My grandpa lived in about 25 minutes away from the nearest town, and the only neighbor around there are other family members. I remember being really scared at this point and couldn't think straight. My brothers were asleep in the living room on the couches near me, and I couldn't force myself to wake them up. Instead, I calmly walked to the back bedroom where my mom and dad are asleep. And I lay down on the floor and tried to go to sleep. Jack. Ghostbox says Jack. All right. I don't know what Jack means, but thank you, Ghostbox. I appreciate your participation. Well, meanwhile, whatever's walking around outside is still doing its thing. And after a couple of minutes, I hear Mom attempt to wake my dad up and see if he can hear it. And this relieves me because I thought she was asleep the whole time. I tell her I hear it too, and we lay there and listen. My dad is not the best at being coherent after sleep, and he falls back to sleep right away. Well, it stops after a couple of minutes, and the next night, the same thing happens, except it's coming from the back door. Well, I freak out again, and this time we just go to the back bedroom and lay down and go to sleep. And that's all I remember. I also forgot to mention a weird thing my grandpa said that made sense later. After turning into sleep, and he said something like, "Don't pay attention to anything you hear at night. You're safe inside." I should also mention that the next day I remember seeing boot prints and paw prints in the sand by the ramp. Yikes. That's not good. Not good being stalked by such a thing. I don't know. I don't know what the whole end game of them is, and I've heard a few legendary references to what they're doing. Like they can maybe steal your soul, steal your identity, and actually become you as like a replacement or a doppelganger. I've heard several different versions of what skinwalkers are, what they want. I don't know. I don't pretend to know, and unfortunately, I've never had the opportunity to interview somebody that does know, really knows what's going on, other than just academically. I've certainly talked to enough people who've studied the phenomena as much as they can, and it's quite interesting. But it'd be neat to talk to a real medicine person from the First Nations to hear what they have to say. All right, well, that was the Skinwalkers. We still got a few more. I guess there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, there's 4 more. We'll hit those on Friday night. I already did that one. There we are. Just make sure I'm scrolled to the right place. But we've got more to get to, folks, because we are going to get to the next part. The next part of our journey, which is the cryptids, the creatures, cryptozoological entities. It's time for the Cryptid Corner. And I got to do this, don't I? I should try to rig up some different cues. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Cryptid Corner. Once again, going through the night here on the portal. So, we're going to start out on Sasquatch Chronicles blog. This is one I've had pulled up for a while, and it's still here. Obviously, it's dated May 29th, so gives you an idea. This has actually been an episode of Sasquatch Chronicles, but it was started out as a listener email, reaching out to Wes, and Wes posted it on his blog. So it's filed under upcoming guest. I noticed a large handprint on the back windshield. So there you go. Do you call it a windshield on the back of a car? I always call that just the back window. But maybe it's a windshield as well. All right, a listener writes, "Dear Wes, my adult children insisted that I share this with you, telling me that yours is the best Bigfoot podcast out there. Though I'm no stranger to the paranormal or anomalous, as I refer to the spooky, I have never experienced an encounter like the one my husband and I had a few days ago in the National Forest in northern Lower Michigan on the full moon. We didn't see them, but heard them clear and close, making a whoop that neither of us had ever heard, and they left an unmistakable sign of their presence. We'd been sitting in silence as the sun set, waiting for the full moon to rise, and we had no fire, no libation, no conversation, and almost no movement for more than 90 minutes. The only sound was the nearby river, spring peepers, and buzzing insects. And I sensed what I thought was an animal nearby, but I didn't see anything except vague movement near the edge of the grove where we sat. Well, at one point, it grew cold. The peepers stopped chirping. What the hell's a peeper? Is that a cricket? Maybe that's a cricket. And the woods went silent. I remarked that it was getting chilly and the moon was obscured by cloud cover, so just suggested we leave. Again, without talking, we made our way to the car. And when we were about 20 feet from it, we heard a loud two-pitched whoop. So is that like a whoop, like that, 2 pitches? We froze, and it happened again. The sound was extremely close. And the call belonged to no nightbird or any other creature I had ever heard. We froze each time it whooped, and then took a few more steps towards the car for it to whoop again. Then we heard a response from about a quarter-mile away that matched the one next to us. When the whoop ceased completely, we loaded up and drove a weary, determined to Google owl. I don't know what that means. We drove a weary, determined to Google owl cries to see if we could find a match. When we hit the pavement, we stopped on the deserted road to listen to peepers. Again, I think that's crickets. Checking the rearview mirror to make sure no vehicles were approaching, I noticed a large handprint on the back windshield of my car. It was freaky to say the least. We took some photos that I'll add to the end of this correspondence. And when we arrived home and looked at the handprint under the light, it really blew our minds. Huh. That's interesting. One thing that I'm noticing, and I'm no expert on this at all, but a lot of people like Cliff Barrickman and others say that the handprint for a Bigfoot, like the handprint on that image is very much like my hand. But the handprint from a Bigfoot should probably have a thumb that's somewhere down here, like an extended palm and then a thumb. More like a chimpanzee or a gorilla is what people have claimed to observe and have found prints to match. That one, I don't know, maybe that is a little lower. Yeah, I guess it is a little extended, and who knows, maybe it wasn't fully opened when it hit the window. Maybe it wasn't wide open like this. So maybe it was more like that. I don't know. It is a cool picture, though. Again, the image is right there. I don't think... Can I blow it up? No, it doesn't look like it. Oh, yeah, I can a little bit. So that's the actual handprint image. Maybe it is a little longer here. Yeah, I guess it certainly could be. And again, there could be a biodiversity for that, too. Not that every handprint has to look the same. But that's the other curiosity. And I mean, it's a great image, but I'd love to know how big is what I'm looking at. And that I don't know. I mean, is that... It does look kind of oily, though, which is fascinating because apparently they have very oily skin that leaves almost a slime after they touch stuff. I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not, but, I've not found any Bigfoot handprints on windows. But like when people have seen them, that they've pressed their face against a window, there seems to be a real oil to the residue of their skin. So I don't know, but it doesn't look like, obviously the full thumb was not in actually making contact, but how big is that to a normal hand is what I want to know. And it almost looks like 2 prints, like this is one and this is another, but because there's like this part here that looks like it's disjointed on all 3 of these major fingers. So I don't know what I'm looking at for sure, and how big it is, I would love to know those things. That would be fascinating to me. Tex has that handprint from his vehicle. Yeah. And there's a video on Tex's channel regarding that too. That's an ape hand. Is it, Annie? Is this an ape hand? Is that what you're saying? Annie is kind of our resident scientist, so she's very plugged into... biology and such. I don't know. What is your pedigree, Annie? If you don't mind me asking. Maybe you're more private, but she's always coming from a very scientifically informed place with this stuff. So I'd love to know what you're seeing and why is it a primate handprint? I was expecting more of an elongated palm, before the thumb. But again, that's just me going by what scuttlebutt I have heard. Oh, Chucky, did you get that from Michael Freeman? Because I know Paul Freeman had taken some hand casts. It's an ape human hand? Okay. Very cool. Well, I mean, yeah, I'm just kind of curious. But there you go. And take from it what you will. Again, I would love to know how big this was. It does look like it takes up a pretty good portion of the rear window, but I'm not sure what the rear window is. Oh, you got it from Cliff. Okay. Yeah, Cliff probably got it from Michael, from Paul Freeman's stuff. Cliff and Michael Freeman are really good friends. So I know that there's plenty of Freeman casts that Cliff also deals with and brings to shows when Michael's not there. The snapping plastic fills the air. But that's a pretty cool story. In any case, I didn't hear that episode of Sasquatch Chronicles, but I'd love to. I think that'd be a great one, for sure. So there it is. I don't know. God, I'm froggy. Science editing and wildlife legal research and anti-poaching support. Oh, excellent. Excellent. Okay, sure. So she knows. Annie knows what she's talking about. Absolutely. You guys are amazing. All of you guys in the audience, you have this real diverse backgrounds with real diverse levels of experience in totally unique and cool ways. So I appreciate all of your input because, again, I'm not pretending to know. God, I wish I wasn't so froggy. There we go. I think I'm better enough to read the next story, which is coming from Phantoms and Monsters, folks. This one is an interesting story from Lon Strickler's Phantoms and Monsters. If you're not familiar with Phantoms and Monsters, you got to get familiar with it. It's a fantastic site. Lon has his published works on there as well as, available on there, I should say, as well as information about his own podcast, which is Phantoms and Monsters Radio. And Lon does live streams from YouTube and Facebook on Friday nights for sure. Well, at least I believe for sure, unless he's changed. I've seen he's streaming at some other times as well. But on Friday night, if you're looking for something to do, you can start out with Phantoms and Monsters Radio live stream with Lon. That happens at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. And then the Paranormal Portal is from 10 p.m. Eastern and 7 p.m. Pacific through midnight and then Eastern, or 10 p.m. Pacific. And then go from there to Spaced Out Radio with Dave. So that's a full night of incredible broadcasts. So love your support in all those ways. Brent turning into a peeper. Never heard of peeper before. Is that a regional term? I've never heard that. Is that a regional term for crickets? I don't know. That was a new one to me. Peepers. Listen to the peepers. It's kind of cute. It's kind of an adorable way of talking about crickets, but I'm trying to not say cryptids when I say crickets. Jesus. All right, here we go. But this is phantomsandmonsters.com. Special thanks to Lon for letting us use his site throughout the portal as well. This one's from May 30th. Gray, hairy cryptid biped manifests and vanishes in a locked rabbit cage. Ooh, what? How big is a rabbit cage? Is that a pretty sizable cage? As far as cages go, is that like a big dog kennel? That size? Or what is a rabbit cage? Are they huge, or are they kind of the same size as a large dog carrier? I don't know. Oh, spring peepers are frogs. I didn't know that. Okay. I got you. So like tree frogs, maybe, yeah? Okay, peepers. I'd never heard of that. I just was assuming they were talking about crickets or something. Okay. When I heard Bigfoot Saturday night, even the peepers quit peeping. Yeah, that makes sense. That actually makes a lot more sense now. I've never heard of frogs referred to as peepers. I live in a bit of a cave here in the portal. This is kind of where I live, right here in this desk. Like 90% of my day is right here in this desk. So obviously I don't get out enough, but that's okay. I like being home. All right, well, let's check out this one. What the hell is going on? That's a strange story, a strange start anyway. She stepped back, unable to comprehend how the creature had gotten into the cage since there was no apparent hole or opening visible anywhere, and the door was securely closed. Oh, this comes from Calama, Chile, from March 16th, 2002 at 10 p.m. A woman was watching television alone in her bedroom when she began hearing noises coming from outside. At first, she thought it was her dogs playing with some empty cans, but the noises kept getting louder, prompting her to go outside to investigate. Once outside, she was stunned to see an unknown, upright creature that had somehow entered the rabbit cage and was attacking the animals, which were making loud, terrible screams. Yeah, rabbits don't make a noise unless they're being attacked. That's like the only time a rabbit really makes a noise, and it's a horrifying sound. It's a terrible sound. Excuse me. Thinking initially that it was one of the dogs, she approached the cage, but soon realized it was a gray, hairy, hunched-over creature moving frantically inside. She stepped back, unable to comprehend how the creature had gotten into the cage since there was no apparent hole or opening visible anywhere, and the door was securely closed. Frantically, she ran inside her home and called for her son, and they both rushed outside, but the creature had mysteriously vanished. Disturbed, they couldn't understand how it had escaped since the door to the rabbit cage remained securely locked. After a thorough examination, they found only a small round hole in the wire just several centimeters wide. Not large enough for a creature estimated to be about 70 to 80 centimeters tall. How tall is that? I don't like metric because I have no concept for what the hell that means. Let's look it up. We got a whole party of them here. How big in feet is 70 to 80 centimeters? Some of you out there are going, oh, come on, it's this big. I don't know. What is centimeters in U.S. size? 60 centimeters, 70 centimeters is 26 to 28 inches. So 80 is 30 to 32. So between 2 and 3 feet, I guess. Okay, 2 and 3 foot tall bipedal creature. All right, wow. I don't know what the hell that is. That's a new one to me. Okay, anyone heard of this before? Again, this is Chile, so I don't know much about South American cryptid reports, but that's a new one to me. Again, I don't know. I don't know what that means, but it sounds like a little Bigfoot. A little Bigfoot. I don't know if that makes sense either. Calculator conversion. Yeah, you're right, Mike. But I don't have the metric stuff here at all. It's like, I remember in elementary school, they tried to teach us the metric system because the plan was we're going to join the rest of the world and learn metric stuff. Some of it still sticks around, but not much. Not much. Thank God they put the whole kilometer thing on the speedometer right with the miles per hour, so you can tell both. You can tell both. That part, it makes it a little bit easier. There's constantly a conversion right there when you look at the needle. But I don't know about the measurements. That's always weird. Like a yard is 3 feet, but a meter is actually a little over 3 feet, right? Like 3.2 feet or something like that. I forget what it is. But anyway, I don't know. Yeah, maybe Android. Yeah, that's an interesting take. Could certainly be a puck wedgie, Annie Manol says. Yeah, I guess that would be about the right size. Yeah, interesting. Interesting thoughts. Yep. I don't know. Interesting stuff. But anyway, let's go to the next one from Phantoms and Monsters. This will probably be our last one. We're about 7 minutes in, and this one was a mermaid one. I was like, oh, mermaids. We don't hear many of those. I love this about Lon's site is there's so much variety of what he posts. The last story, which is some appearing, disappearing, magical little cryptid, little hominid of some kind. And now we go to mermaids. And I love the stories of mermaids. I think they're fascinating and fantastic. And again, it's another series of stories that have survived the ages. And there's still claims coming in to this day of people seeing humanoid aquatic species. So, I don't know. I don't think they're the romanticized Little Mermaid kind of things. I think that they probably look horrid to us if we were to see a real mermaid. I don't think it would be something like, oh yeah, drag me into the deep water. I don't think that would be the way that my mind worked. It'd probably be like, holy God. Oh, but anyway, let's read it and see what it says. He noticed that what he initially thought to be her leg drawn up on the rock was actually a scaled fishtail. The woman didn't notice him at first until he deliberately made a noise while walking on the gravel to get closer. Oh, this is from Zimbabwe. Okay. Let's see what's going on. From January 2000, late evening. Marco Batao was walking from, Chawarura Shopping Center when he approached the Hanyani River, and he saw what appeared to be a white woman basking in the sun and sitting on a rock. Well, half immersed in pool water, the woman was naked, and Marco was surprised at this. And then he noticed what he initially thought to be her leg, drawn up on the rock, was actually a scaled fishtail. The woman did not notice him at first until he deliberately made a noise while walking on the gravel to get closer, and in an instant, she disappeared into the water. A few days later, his curiosity aroused, and Marco took the same route home, and to his amazement, the woman was there, basking on the rock again. But not only that, this time there was laundry laid out on some of the stones to dry, with some draped over the bushes nearby. Unfortunately, in his astonishment and perhaps some fear, he did not see what type of washing it was, whether clothing or merely pieces of cloth. Now, that doesn't make sense to me. Why would an aquatic species have textiles? Or how would an aquatic species have textiles? And if they did have textiles, why would they wash them in the water they live in? That doesn't seem to make sense. And why would they dry them ever? Because they're just going to get wet if they're hers. Again, Marco drew nearer to get a closer view, and suddenly the woman became aware of him and looked at him as though admonishing him. The next thing, she had disappeared into the water. The following week, Marco deliberately took this rather isolated shortcut home. Immediately when he reached the pool on the river, he saw the same creature there, only this time she was holding a baby in her arms and giving it a bath. Still puzzled by what he was seeing, Marco tried to draw closer to verify what he was seeing, but the moment the wooden woman heard his footsteps on the gravel, she and the baby disappeared into the water together. Lon has a note on the bottom that says, this is not the only reported Nijuzu or water spirit sighting on the Hunyani River. A young boy from a Zimbabwe settler family had a similar experience in the early 1900s. Johan Masawe, a founder of the Gospel of God Church in Zimbabwe, maintained he had encountered one of the creatures as well. Nijuzu are considered in native folklore to be excellent healers. Oh, interesting. I'd never heard the term Nijuzu before, but thank you, Lon, for that robust second helping of information. That's fantastic. I really like it when he kind of ties it together at the end like that, because whenever we're dealing with stories of these, more global scale, I don't know anything about this stuff. I don't know very little about mermaids as it is, just, other than the romanticized ideas that our, folklore has. But in this case, it's great to see how it ties into the local lore and what that means to the local. That's very cool. Well, I don't know. You got to wonder, though. I mean, I'll bet you that mermaid's like, hell, all right, that place is shot. That guy keeps showing up. Screw this place. Got to find a whole new place now because he kept showing up. If you're going to, I mean, wouldn't you want to just sit there and quietly watch just to see what you can observe? What do you see? What do they do? It would just be a great opportunity to watch and try to just soak it all in. Okay, well, there she is. What is she doing? Why is she doing laundry? That's my biggest question. And why is she drying it on rocks? Because when she's done, it's probably going to have to go back in the water. Unless it was someone else's laundry. You know, I don't know. Maybe that's the case. Maybe there's, maybe this water spirit or Najuzi had befriended some local villagers or something. I don't know. And it was just a local secret that he stumbled onto. The whole laundry thing is the big throw for me. It's like, what? So that's my stuck point. That's where I get stuck. But at any rate, that's our journey for tonight. I don't know. Maybe it was souvenirs of her prey. Ooh, Eric, you just made it dark. Ooh. That's a whole different twist, but you're right. That might make some sense. Maybe those are trophies. That's the 15th one I've drowned today. Yeah, you never know. Sirens are real. They're in the Bible, Eric Fry says. Yeah, that's a good point. Last chat poll for the night. 1, you believe mermaids are something. I mean, that there's some phenomena that people are experiencing, or 0, it's just a bunch of folklore. In the chat, give me a 1 or a 0. 1, you believe in mermaids. 0, just a bunch of folklore. I don't know. Big D and Barbara Mora, there's ones over there in Rumble. I don't know if those are new. I love me some cryptids. Yes, we do. All right. Well, Aussie Tiger. Yep, there's something there. Lenda. Yep. BJ Lapierre. Yep. Okay, 3-1 so far. Android's in the middle somewhere. 0.5. Fair enough. Cat Doherty is definitely a 1. Bill Simone is like, no, think it's folklore. Fair enough. Mike Prine has 1. Rachel gets it right. It's a 1. Owl. Nope. Not going to buy into that. That's fair enough. It is, I'm there with you. It's hard to understand a whole lot about it. The interesting thing is that the claims continue to come up. I mean, they're very rare, but they do surface. But surface. See, they're another unintentional joke. God damn. I don't know how I do that. It's like I sound like I'm really brilliant, but I'm not. That's all accidental. Thank you, Brent. Number 1, Mary says. You're welcome, Mary. Thank you. Annie says, no clue. Number 3. Fair enough. Giant squid being verified makes it plausible. Yeah, I mean, there's lots of things in this world we have no clue about still, and will continue to. Yeah, fair enough. All right. Well, that's good last survey. At least a sampling of our audience. Not everybody needs to participate, I guess, but it's nice to know what you guys think. Josh Casto's kind of leaning on there's something to it. Barbara says, yep, definitely. There's a new one in there from her. Gotcha. I don't think I could quietly observe. Yeah, it'd be hard. Barbara's all kinds of ones in there. She's getting lots of ones. Spirit Box said Jack. Was that the name of the boy that died at your property? No idea. The time that I got any kind of feedback when I was doing some investigating, the name Peter came up. And so I assumed maybe it was Peter. I did look through, just in, full disclosure, I did look through obituaries ad nauseum, and I didn't find him. I wouldn't say it was a real methodical approach, but I did some range of years based on that search criteria. And I found some, but nothing from this address that I could find for sure. But then again, back then, I mean, there's laws about reporting on public reporting on minors, and so I don't know that I would be able to find a publicly released obituary, but yeah, it's certainly a sad event for sure. All right, well, I guess that's going to wrap up the night. Hope you guys had a good time. Good night, good people. Car Juice, Big D, Barbara Morris says, talking to our Rumble crowd, and good night to all of you guys. That's interesting though, Android. I could certainly weigh that out too. I just don't know. I don't know for sure what the story is there. That's all we got time for tonight, though. So thank you all for being a part of the journey. As always, just know that I'll be back on Friday night. I got an interview to do tomorrow and a busy day tomorrow, but I'll be back for the next live show Friday night and then again on Saturday. I think Tex will be here on Saturday, but I'll verify that with him. I think Sheldon will be here on Friday. So we should be rolling along for the next 2 shows. But we do these live shows Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. So if you can make it, fantastic. If you can't, I totally understand. Just watch them when you can, if you don't mind. And if you enjoy the shows, please share them. Please, link them out on your social media if you'd be so kind, or in groups dealing with the subjects of people that you might think might enjoy these shows. So every little bit helps. But good night, everybody. Thank you all for being here. And all I can say is we love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other, help each other out. Find the magic in every day and remember to laugh as much as you can. I'll see you next time. You're on the portal. Go over and check out Spaced Out Radio with Mr. Dave. Coming on soon. Maybe right now. I don't know. I think he starts now, doesn't he? Anyway, go check it out. Tell him B. Arthur sent you. Just tell him the portal sent you. I don't know about the whole B. Arthur thing anyway. That's weird. I don't know. The Golden Girls. He calls me B. Arthur. I call him Betty White. It's a thing. That's all we got, though. Good night, everybody. Love ya, and take care of yourselves. We'll see you next time.